Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. We hope, we pray that everybody is well and will be better. This is your brother and friend, Yeshaya Yisrael. This is this video, Hebrew of Manasseh and Ephraim Part 2, being done over due to a matter of some of the PowerPoints in the last one that was done earlier today. All of the PowerPoints didn't show the way they could and should have. So that's what happened in that particular case. For anybody in the chat, we are on the platforms More Yeshaya Torah Lessons and More Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons for those who are interested. We are going to go over some slides and screenshots of welcome, brothers and sisters. Thank you for that, family, in that particular case. Let us, if we will, pull up the PowerPoint. Thank you for coming in. Ronald Cumby asking, who am I? My name is Yeshaya, and I'm going to be going over matters of the Hebrew concerning the name Manasseh and Ephraim. All right? Thank you for that in that particular case. So, all righty, let's get into this, brothers and sisters, if we will. All right. Slideshow from the beginning. Manasseh and Ephraim, part 2. Thank you for that. What we are looking at here, brothers and sisters, is the list of the Afro-Asiatic languages. And what we see, brothers and sisters, is this. Ethiopia, as we see in that particular matter right there. All right? We have Kaffa Cushitic. You also see Egyptian. And from, say, its branch, we have the Near East Semitic, brothers and sisters. And we also see Akkadian and Hebrew and Aramaic. Now, we're going to, in this, be speaking upon the matter of Aramaic. All right? So again, screenshots are welcome for those who are interested. We also care to point out, brothers and sisters, that Hebrew and Amharic are related in this particular matter. In many cases, you might find where in Hebrew you may say the syllable as sh, sh, might be transliterated to other languages simply as sa or the s. Whereas in Hebrew, there is a s syllable and there is an sh syllable in the phonetic matters of Hebrew. Another thing, brothers and sisters, we care to bring out is that when you hear people say Semitic as opposed to Shemitic, serves as what we was speaking upon, because Greek, unless I stand corrected, does not have a sh syllable. So Sem is the Greek transliteration of the Hebrew word Shem. All right. So that's something, again, if we will, to point out for reference purposes. Let us look at this. Under the Semitic matter, which we understand to be Shemitic matter, under the Afro-Asiatic languages, we see again close up Hebrew and Aramaic falling under Akkadian. Now, Akkadian, whether you spell it as AKK or ACC, was a kingdom and empire that was started by the Cushites or the Ethiopians, brothers and sisters, in what we call the area of the said Middle East of today. At one point, brothers and sisters, Akkadian was the lingua franca, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. And we would like to sit there and show something in regards to this matter, if we will. All right. Okay. So let's continue on in this family in this particular case. All right. Was Akkadian the Lingua Franca at one point in history? So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. It goes into this. Akkadian is an extinct East Semitic language that is attested in ancient Mesopotamia, Akkad, Assyria, Eastern Lhasa, Babylonia, from the mid-3rd millennium BC until its gradual replacement in common use by Old Aramaic among Mesopotamians in the 8th century BC. All right. Akkadian was the earliest documented Semitic language. It's named after the city of Akkad, a major center of Mesopotamian civilization during the Akkadian Empire. All right. Now, it was written using cuneiform script originally used for Sumerian. So sometimes you will find where languages serve each other and helping each other. In this particular matter, regarding phonetics, one style of writing is borrowed by another. Like you might see English and Spanish are both written in the same letters, kind of matter, all right, of today. So this is something, again, we care to bring out for reference purposes. Okay, now another thing, brothers and sisters, I like to ask in this is this. What language, right? What language were the Amarna records written in? The Amarna letters are unusual Egyptological research because they are written not in the language of ancient Egypt, but in cuneiform, the writing system of ancient Mesopotamia. These letters comprising cuneiform tablets written primarily in Akkadian, So the Amarna records, which goes back to ancient Egypt itself, was written inside of a language that belongs to the Afro-Asiatic family. So what is the point in me showing this matter is that there is no way to try to totally separate the languages we see in Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt, the Sinai, Canaan, Hebrew, Babylonia, Kassite, and so forth and so on. So now, of course, each language has its own uniqueness, but brothers and sisters, there's no way that you're going to be in those ancient days and someone not say a word that you're not going to be familiar with, even if you're unilateral, only knowing one particular language at the time. So this is something, again, that we care to bring out and point out for reference purposes. All right. Thank you for that in that particular case. All right. Let's continue on, family. So let's look. Delafos is known for his contributions to West African history and African languages. Hebrew, a West Semitic language on an Afro-Asiatic language tree. The term Afro-Asiatic was made in 1914 by Maurice Delafos. If I mispronounce anything, please let me know. The term Semito-Semitic was coined in 1876 by Friedrich Müller. So this is something, brothers and sisters, again, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. All right. Now, let's look, brothers and sisters, and get into this kind of matter here. I would like to, if I may, pull up the PowerPoint again, brothers and sisters, and let's start looking at this. and look at what is, quote, a new slide and see what we can ascertain in this particular case. All right. Now, this is something when I was discussing things, brothers and sisters, that somebody showed me, right? Let's look at it here, family. And I call it on here weird map. All right. Let's look at this. Now, if we're looking at this here, right? This is in one's attempt to say that Egypt, which is in many cases the border starting into Africa. But biblically, we know that Ezekiel chapter 20 says about the border of Egypt, which is in the land of the Sinai. You know about what they call the wars of the prince during the timing of the middle kingdom of Egypt, because that is what the pharaohs were building to keep the Amu or the Asiatics from coming into Egypt. So going back and forth into Egypt in the ancient world, long before the Suez Canal, was something that was done commonly. All right. So this is something to point out in that particular case. So this map here, no disrespect, trash. As far as it goes to the ancient world, it's trash. All right. And the evidence will show here. Look, if we will, family, in this particular case. Right? I call this one here, pardon me, where are the lands in this particular matter? Now let's look, family, in this particular case. And let's see what scripture says, and let's see what we're going to show in geography. All right? Where are the lands, according to sources, that want to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to take refuge in the stronghold of Pharaoh and to take shelter in the shadow of Egypt? Therefore shall the stronghold of Pharaoh turn to the shame, and the shelter in the shadow of Egypt to your confusion. Isaiah chapter 30. It goes on to say, therefore, behold, I am against thee and against thy rivers, and I will make the land of Egypt utterly waste and desolate. For me, both inside me, even to the border of Ethiopia. Ezekiel chapter 29. Now, brothers and sisters, sorry about that. When we look at this right here, okay, I would like to sit here. So on this point, if you will, right? Eastward, the country is bounded by Arabia. To the south lies Egypt. Now, this is Tacitus, the Roman historian, in book 5 of Tacitus, the Histories, in which he's talking about the geography between where the Romans in Jerusalem were attacking the Israelites and where the land of Egypt is. He said, to the south lies Egypt. On the west are the Phoenician and Mediterranean. Now, the Mediterranean is on the west side of where the land of Israel is. So when you go in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, as well as Numbers chapter 34, and it says about the Great Sea being a Western Sea, it's not that far-fetched. All right? Once it comes down, it says about the Great Sea, Western Sea, it's not that far-fetched. All right? So that's something, again, we can bring out and point out for reference purposes. Thank you for that, family. Let us, if we will, continue in this particular matter. Thank you for that, family. Josephus, book 12. And when once Ptolemy asked him how many 10,000s of books he had collected, he replied that he had already about 20 times 10,000, but that in a little time he should have 50 times 10,000. But B said he had been informed that there were many books of laws among the Jews worthy of inquiring after and worthy of the king's library, but which, being written in the characters and in a dialect of their own, will cause no small pains in getting them translated into the Greek tongue. That the character in which they are written seems to be like to that which the proper character of the Syrians, and that its sound, when pronounced, is like theirs also, in that this sound appears to be peculiar to themselves. So, what are we talking about here? This is speaking, brothers and sisters, in history about the matter and timing of Ptolemy Philadelphus II, the successor of Ptolemy the First. And he wanted to get as many Israelite writings translated into Greek as much as possible. So he commissioned people to get what is today referred to as the Septuagint, brothers and sisters. Now, the Septuagint was put together. It contains, as we see today, mainly the Apocrypha and said Old Testament, brothers and sisters. And in such, there is, correct me if I'm wrong, no way they were able to translate the Yod Hey Waw Hey or transliterate the Yod Hey Waw Hey into Greek, because he who was, he who will be, is a Hebraic understanding and truth concerning the Most High, and does not hold it said same weight within Greek. So that's something, brothers and sisters, again, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. All right. So now, what we understand as a vowel to be, brothers and sisters, is a sound that is written. So now when we read about sounds within the language of the Syrians, which is Aramaic, brothers and sisters, it's not too far-fetched to know whom and what we're speaking of. We want to show, brothers and sisters, before we continue this particular matter here. All right, we spoke upon the matter of Afro-Asiatic. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. All right, Afro-Asiatic people, and what do we see in this particular case? One of the first pictures, not to be funny, that comes up in that particular matter. So now when we start talking about Arameans in the ancient world, which whom were later called Syrians, what, brothers and sisters, can we ascertain in this particular case? All right. When we look here and we see what is referred to as the tribute bearers to ancient Egypt, who were, brothers and sisters, Syrians, aka Arameans, this is how they looked in this particular matter. One of them on the top in the front, to me, looks like braids. Everybody else, a fillet on one said, over one said afro, or a bald head with a beard. But that's what I see in that particular case. So, brothers and sisters, let us continue and get into part of the lesson regarding Manasseh and Ephraim and see what we can ascertain in this particular case. Let us look at this. We have the word here, Nasha, to forget. The word Nasha senior, to forget. We also want to say also, to forget, also mean to lend in this particular case. So when we get into the Hebrew, let us start by looking at the left, right side, right? And what do we see? Let's go to Exodus 22, verse 24, and let's see what we can ascertain in that particular matter. All right? Exodus 22, we're going to do it from the Hebrew matter, right? And what do we see in this particular case? Verse 24 reads as follows. If thou lend money to any of my people, even to the poor with thee, thou shalt not be to him as a creditor, neither shall you lay upon him interest. Now the Hebrew, we see, im kesef talwe et ami et he ani imka lo tiyelo kanoshe lo tishimun alayo nesek. The word we care, brothers and sisters, to point out, all right, if we will, is the word here, noshe, which is translated meaning creditor. All right? You don't take things in pledge in that kind of manner and things of that kind of so forth and so on. All right? And if you do, you don't do it, say, overnight. All right? So you don't sit there and oppress your neighbor in that manner. That's what that's talking about. So when we go back now, brothers and sisters, into this, we can go into the book of Jeremiah actually and show what we're talking about. All right, let's see what we're talking about. Jeremiah 15, verse 10, and it reads as follows. Looking at it from a Hebrew perspective. All right, Jeremiah 15, and let's see what we can ascertain in this particular case. Sorry about that, family. Want to pull it up this way with the Hebrew and the English. Let's look at it on this one, 15:10, right? Woe is me, my mother, that thou hast borne me a man of strife and a man of contention to the whole earth. I have neither lent on usury, nor men have lent to me on usury, yet every one of them does curse me. Now, if we were to look at this from the Hebrew, from Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 10, it says, Oili imi ki yelid tini, ish rib we ish madon, the kol haaretz, lo nashiti lo nasubi, kalo mekwal luni. So we see here, brothers and sisters, this word here. All right. Meaning in regards with lending. Now, that is something we care to have pointed out in that manner. All right. Any questions, please feel free to put within the chat. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. Now, when we pull the PowerPoint back up in this manner here, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 23 in looking at the English and Hebrew, and let's see what we can see in this particular case. All right. Jeremiah chapter 23. And let's see what we can ascertain in this. All right. 23 verse 39 says this. Therefore, behold, I will utterly tear you out, and I will cast you forth in the city that I gave unto you and to your fathers away from my presence. Now, in the Hebrew, we see lakain, hini, when nashiti et kem, naso. Now, brothers and sisters, this word here, nashiti, is properly translated as to forget. I forgot. When nashiti, and I will forget. All right. Now, in this, for whatever reason, is translated as tear you out. But we are really reading where it says, and I will forget you all. All right. It's not the nicest prophecy. It's not the happiest, but it's something that we are going to talk about in this case here. in a linguist matter. All right. So any questions or comments, again, please feel free to put into the chat. The number is across the screen, family in that particular case. All righty. Let's continue. Goes on to say, the word Manasseh, said as Manasseh in Hebrew, falls under the PL stem in Hebrew, this being the third of the 7 verb stems. In many cases, the PL serves as the intensification of the qual stem. In other cases, as in this word, it serves as the causative. The word Manasseh literally means one who causes to forget. It goes on to say, last week we discussed the word nasha and the prefixes and suffixes of such. Check the description for the link to that video. In Hebrew, we see nashiti, I forgot, and eshke, I will forget. So, brothers and sisters, we hope and pray, again, that everybody is well and will be better. Thank you for the time. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. More presentations coming. Thank you.
Shalom, shalom. Giving honor to the creator of heaven and earth. Want to go over this, not going to be long. Want to go over verb and noun. Let us look at this, brothers and sisters. We have the word here, hora or hore. Now, in this particular case, we're dealing with it as a verb. All right? Hore, in this case, in the Hefel stem, which in root means to teach. Okay. All right. So, then we have this word here, more. The word more means teacher. So what do we see so far? The verb and then the noun with the prefix of it with the mem there. This is a male teacher. Then we have this word here, and we can say it also as hore. Now, in this case, we're not dealing with it as a verb, but as a noun. And this means parent, a male parent. Now we have this word here, okay? And we have it as morah. The word morah meaning teacher, a female teacher. All right? Then we have here the word hora. Okay? Hora meaning female parent. So what do we see so far? Hore in root, meaning to teach, the verb. More, a teacher, a male one that is. Hore, in this case treated as a noun, the male parent. Then we have mora, meaning female teacher or a teacher that's a female. Then we have hora, a parent that's a female. And we have here the word Torah, generally said as law, but the word Torah really means teaching or instruction. For instance, when you read in the book of Proverbs, and it says, forsake not the teaching of thy mother, all right? Al tishkat Torat imerka, forsake not the teaching of thy mother. So we just want to point that out. So we have a teacher, a male parent, a female teacher, a female parent. So what do we get out of this? The teachers are parents, and most definitely the parents are teachers. And what are they supposed to teach? The instructions. So just want to show how the Hebrew works in this particular case. All right, you can see that the O and the R sound is still there. The O and the R sound is still there. You may have a change with the mem or the tau or in root with the hey, but the general premise of the sound is still there. Unlike English, when teaching and instruction, those words do not sound alike. Whereas teacher and parent in English does not sound alike in root, all right, linguistically. So just want to point that out. Hebrew is easy. Get the book on Amazon. Shalom.